Hey, good evening, everybody. I hope you're doing well. So the 10-year's at the lowest level it's been in the past couple of weeks at 4.194. So good news. Market closes early tomorrow at 11. We do have jobless claims coming out tomorrow. And so we'll see what happens if the market reacts to that or what happens in the morning. But anyways, lowest level in 2 weeks, all great news. So multiple conversations today with clients, with colleagues, and with folks that I just run across. In particular, a guy that I met at the gym. We have a conversation here and there. He's a business owner and he's a business builder and seems to be a pretty smart guy, but he drops a nugget or two. He always says, "Hey, Jeff, what's the inspiration today?" I'm always on my way out. He's on his way in, right? And I'm like, "Hey, Michael, here's what I was thinking about while I was training today." And I say, "What do you got?" And he'll drop a nugget or two, right? So, but what I'm about to say actually came from a client of mine who's a mathematician, right? So we're talking numbers and all this stuff, and somehow we get into this conversation, and he says, "I'm a mathematician, so the numbers are the numbers. It's just facts for me." He goes, "But you've got to be able to account for the human factor. And it's hard to measure what that's going to look like when you're trying to be a fact-based person. The human factor is that thing that could come in and just change it all, right?" So I said, man, I kind of like that because I think it has a lot of applications. So I wrote it down. The human factor. Had a conversation earlier this morning with a colleague, and we were talking about being present, right? And actually, even that conversation extended a little bit. I wanted to send an email. I wanted to read a text. I wanted to take a note. I wanted to do this. I wanted to, and again, I'm learning to force myself to stay in certain moments, right? And I stayed present, right? And I think it's so important that when we're in a moment, we take everything we can out of that moment, right? And I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but one of the things that I've listened to recently, and I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit, is don't carry past emotions into current situations, right? Good or bad, right? So what it basically is saying that you could something can happen to you right now, good, you could be euphoric, or something could happen right now and you could be bad and you could be all upset, and you could be walking into a meeting, walking into a lunch, walking into whatever, and you still have that emotion kind of dominating the moment, right? And you're not really focused on the moment. So feel it, get it, and let it go, and move on and say, hey, you know what? I don't want to miss the next whatever it is that's coming my way. So love it, stay present, and don't carry emotion, good or bad, into that next moment. Which then leads to being authentic, right? And the conversation that I had with somebody else was basically like, hey, in these moments, if you can just be authentic without fear of, right, of somebody praising you or somebody condemning you or somebody, whatever their feeling is towards you, or you're concerned about what they think about you, I believe ultimately that adds to freedom, right? The freedom to do, right? And I think given that freedom, people can be so much more successful and can just dig deeper and do things that they didn't even think was possible, right? And then lastly, my wife and I were at my youngest son's senior night for lacrosse last night, and I was asked, were you sad? I said I didn't think I was going to be sad, but ultimately we have 3 boys, and we've spent 21 years in youth sports, high school sports, and college sports, and it's coming to an end. My youngest son will not be playing college ball, and we've had 21 years, blessed beyond blessed, and it is sad, and it's even going to be sadder when he plays his last game. Senior night was one thing, but when he has that last lacrosse game, whatever that is, they're heading to the playoffs, it'll be a sad moment. So that's it. If you have any questions about anything I said, 404-915-6834. Have an amazing evening. Take care.